Welcome everyone to the Runes and Miz Arsenal chat. I'm Runes.
And I'm Miz.
We come at you every Friday to talk about all things Arsenal, the good, the better, the best. Miz, how's it going?
Doing well this week. It's been an interesting week since we last chatted, and I think we have a lot to discuss today, and
Yeah,
even
both
stuff
of them
that's
we
happened this.
anticipated last week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were hoping for a good result at Newcastle. We got it. We got a good performance. Some transfer news to talk about. We'll talk about that. Well,
Yeah.
that'll be a third portion. We're going to talk about Emile Smith Rowe today as well
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Midfield
on.
in general, which seems
Yep,
like it's progressing.
it is. And, with Odegaard looking like that's likely to happen today as a loan deal,
Yeah.
I,
I mean,
I'm,
the
he was, yeah,
idea of Partey, Odegaard, and Emile
smoke,
Smith Rowe all of a sudden, like,
different midfield.
from an
Yeah.
absolute minefield in the center of the pitch. Now
I
we're
mean,
looking
that
real strong.
totally. And for a month ago, we weren't looking at it that way. So this is changed quickly. It's developing. I think anybody that doubts Arteta on what he's doing, I mean, they're making moves.
Yeah, definitely.
Ozil's gone. Socrates is gone. Things that we've been asking for, things
For,
that we've been wanting this entire season and longer. So
and they're not
uh,
easy to accomplish, but we've actually done a lot. This
ruthless too,
window.
canceling contracts, like just straight up,
I mean,
like what they should have done before.
yeah. Well, I was watching the AFTV Transfer Daily today, and Robbie was listing the players that we have let go for free. It
Yep.
was insane. Just from like even like Wilshire and Welbeck and
Yeah.
players that you don't you know
Ramsey.
Ramsey,
Yeah.
Alexis
Don't.
Sanchez, Mkhitaryan,
Yeah.
those 190 million pounds worth of players that
Yeah.
we
That
just
we
let
just that we just didn't make money on, and we ironically we just took $190 million loan from the bank for God knows what. So
hopefully get us back to just even. And now we have a different transfer policy. It was that Gazidis era that
yeah,
just now getting over.
poor decisions overall.
But that's what you want to see in the new technical management. I mean, there was
Yeah.
some doubts about Adu. There's some doubts about Arteta for sure. The lack of experience is an issue. But when they make moves like this, you have to say, this is what we need to do. This is what everyone was calling for. It's the obvious moves to make, and it seems like they're making them. Now, if they work out or not, that's always a risk that you take, but you have to be you have to be pleased with what they're doing right now.
Yeah, definitely. So we got a good run up today. We'll talk about Newcastle, that midfield with Smith Rowe. We're going to talk about the transfer window, and then we're going to move into the big FA Cup match early tomorrow morning at 4:15 in the morning,
Right.
West Coast time. I'm gonna get up and watch it because it's not going to be recorded really easily with the ESPN being the coverage. So I'm gonna get up, try to catch the whole thing. It seems like this happens to Arsenal all the time, and we'll definitely talk about it. But like we played Newcastle in the cup and the game within a week. Now we got Southampton tomorrow and on Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the days. I
Yeah.
mean, in the league, like why does this seem to happen to Arsenal all the time? It's
Just
weird.
if you play at any team twice in a row, there's a chance
Yeah.
you beat them and you might lose to them because it's hard to just do the
Yep.
same thing against the same team twice in a row.
And I know that you'll express the same sentiment. We need to win both these games that we play them in the next one. They beat us recently in December
Yeah.
at home. We play them at St. Mary's in both games coming up, where our away form has been a little better this season. So hopefully we can grind out a result. So let's dive into it. Newcastle.
Newcastle. My first thoughts were when I saw the lineup, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, finally we're feeling what seems to be the strongest team. Obviously, there's a glaring Xhaka in the midfield. But
I was wondering when that was coming because
yeah,
I agree. His name just seems to get on the sheet a lot, and it's like,
but other than
what?
that, really, and when Xhaka, it's not necessarily that, it's a worst case scenario to have him on the field. We shouldn't exaggerate, you
Yep.
know. But the main thing was, it was like, why does Bellerin and Xhaka keep playing? Like, one of those players are not, they haven't been proving themselves. But to see Cedric start, and then just with the rest of the team, and then you see like Partey and Smith Rowe play. You see Abba.
Yeah.
Well, I think Abba on the lineup showed him on the right, but I think he was on the left.
And they kind of rotated a little bit. Like you saw him slide over to the right, Saka moved over. So they were trying something a little different on Monday that I don't understand why they don't do that anyway. If you both are comfortable doing that, switch fields sometimes and like switch. How many times as we were playing as kids, I'm gonna go try this over here for a little bit. Try to expose that space because I'm obviously not getting shit over here.
If like a right-footed player playing on the left, then it should be a big deal to move over to the right.
For sure, yeah.
My main thought was when I saw that lineup was like, okay, if this team can't beat Newcastle, then we're in trouble. But you almost can't even blame. I can't blame Arteta because this is pretty much the team that I would have picked.
Yep. And a real big notable performance was Cedric.
For sure.
Baller. Like, I mean, Bellerin doesn't deserve to get into the team anymore over him in general after that performance. Yeah, I mean, I know it's one game, but he showed what we were lacking.
Totally. I mean, there's a certain play that I've been just demanding Arsenal to do, where you break the line with a pass, cut it back, and finish it with a tap in.
Yep.
That's what he did. It was a great back pass by, I think, Saka.
Mm-hmm.
And then he broke the line, got it, but didn't just put his head down and kick it across, without any look.
No, he looked up at the line. It was boom.
Drove down the byline. It was very close. It could have gone out, but he did well to keep it in. It wasn't out. You know what I mean? It was a fraction in.
Yep.
Legitimate goal.
Yeah.
Not Oba's second. 2 goals is better than 1.
Totally. And Aubameyang needed that.
Totally.
He needed that brace. Like, I mean, Aubameyang did what Aubameyang does when he gets the right service. He's finished both goals. The one that they were giving him a hard time about, that first one where it hit off the post, that's anyone that's ever, it's easy for critics to look at that and be like, how did he miss the goal wide open right there? If you're a player, you understand how hard of a goal that was to score. He was on the wrong side, turned when the ball came to him. When he hit the ball, all he could do was hit it with his left. So naturally, it was going to guide the other way and hit the post. He couldn't get his right onto it.
It took the deflection. And
it wasn't,
that ball into him wasn't like a cross laid.
No, it was ripped.
He took a deflection and he tried to make a snap decision and it hit the post. When I saw that, I was like, you know what? Aubameyang, he's unlucky, but he's trying. Like, we got
he was knocking at the door for the last few games. Like, he's been trying, he's been getting closer. Definitely been flirting with this confidence getting back there. So I'm feeling that he, if he's firing on all cylinders and the rest of the team is firing on all cylinders, team should be worried about us like we thought.
1,000%.
And we look solid in the back. The team, no matter who he has in the center back position right now, they all kind of seem to have it figured out. Gabriel's given a nice rest, and he's got Mari still on the injury sheet that's coming back soon. Rob Holding's been playing very well.
Yeah.
Louise, I mean, he played well. He has these calamitous days where he makes bad decisions, and sometimes he'll do a dumb foul, and you're like, why did you do that? But overall, and Tierney obviously is always a shining light.
Yeah. And then to have Cedric almost steal the show in the back line.
He had a sick back heel through the legs to put Saka in.
Yeah.
I mean, he played very, very good.
It wasn't there wasn't any kind of anything missing in his game. You know?
No, really. I mean, he looked complete. He looked a complete defender. He looked comfortable in the team. He was moving, tracking, assisting. I mean, Bellerin probably was watching that from the sideline being like, well,
that's that.
I should probably. And then I saw a transfer rumor the day after about him going somewhere. It was like, fine. I think that we probably could cut our loss with Bellerin at this point. We got Niles that could cover Cedric on the right.
I mean, I think what it showed me was it's time to move on from Bellerin and Niles and get what we can for them instead of letting their contracts run out.
Yeah, I mean
wait-
Niles too. I agree. I think Niles he just doesn't have the oomph that we probably need. He's lacking in the touch and the consistency of passing and stuff.
Yeah, and then maybe in a more straightforward, traditional English style team, maybe he can do well. I mean, and I think Bellerin could go to a different team and wouldn't suck necessarily. You know what I mean? But the way
He'd
Arsenal,
be good. Bellerin would be good in like the MLS where it's like really slow and
yeah, maybe like MLS or
USL.
yeah, ball or something. But honestly, the thing is like Bellerin and Xhaka, sometimes they don't have horrible games. Like they don't make a massive mistake where you can say like, okay, you caused the goal, what they don't give you anything. And then seeing Cedric was like, yeah, this is what happens when a right back actually gives you something. And that's what you need, because you need everyone on the pitch. 11 players in today's game, you don't have a position where you can just be like, well, they didn't really do anything for us.
Yeah. And then we got like other people on the team like really outperforming and outplaying. Like, I mean, the Smith Rowe Saka connection in that game is just, it's undeniable. Their connection on the field. They look like they're running training drills some of the time. Like, I mean, they're dinking around players like they just do this for fun. And that goal was clinical.
Seriously, not easy either way, not a good run, good touches, great finish, scores against anybody. And that's just organic, natural movement and passing and finishing from two extremely young players. 20 and Saka's what, 19?
19? Yeah.
19 and 20.
But they've been playing together for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, then
that's what happens.
Friends off the pitch and everything you want in a team connection, it's awesome. It's really exciting.
And we can kind of dive into our next topic because we're kind of at that time. But I mean, it kind of goes along with this is Smith Rowe transforming the middle of the park. I mean, we were talking about before he came onto the thing that we needed a center attacking midfielder. I think we got it. I don't know. And got it. I got it. I mean, he's brilliant. Like as a young 20-year-old player, when I watch him, his like situational awareness on the field is far past his age right now. He is playing like Grealish, De Bruyne. He's all over the field. He's box to box. He's tracking. He's scoring. He's assisting. He's beating players. He's opening up the field. He's moving around. He's never looking out of sorts. He is very commanding as a 20-year-old. You're like, that kid is fucking dope. Like,
who do we get? Even if our dream midfield, signing, who do we get that comes in and does better than Smith Rowe's doing right now?
I mean, maybe De Bruyne. And that
it would have to be someone of that because would be a huge risk, and you would hope to get what you're getting from Smith Rowe right now.
Yeah, and I don't think that we're being over exaggeratory on this at all. Like he just looks an all around very good player. I think it's apparent. That's why Arteta like Monday was like, yeah, he's starting and he's playing the entire game. Yeah. Because give him the number 10 jersey now because it's gone. There's no number 10. He's the number 10.
That dink through ball pass to Saka, where Saka then hit it and Aubameyang almost scored.
Yeah.
That was Ozil-esque. Like
it was, yeah.
He doesn't have anything that Ozil, Ozil doesn't have anything that he doesn't have. You know what I mean?
I'd say Smith Rowe is more well-rounded. He works harder. You have a player that's like Ozil, if not more clinical, and he runs.
Well, he's like Ozil, but also he has that just straight up British style soccer player who is just solid all around.
Yep. Works tough.
Hard, is tough, is going to get stuck in, is going to play defense, but then he has that Ozil pass element too.
I like his his attitude is legit. Just like looking at his presence, his attitude, like he looks all business.
For sure. For sure.
He looks like he's not dicking around out there. Like he's like, I'm going out here to ball, and you're lucky to be in my presence playing on this field because he looks confident, like
of prima donna-ness, or I already did what I need to do, or wants to play, he wants the ball. I saw him. The thing that really impressed me was Andy Carroll was at the box, and he's dangerous anywhere around the box.
Yeah, it was a great shot, great in the air.
Now was kind of ready to have a rip with the left foot, and Smith Rowe comes flying in and just touches it out of his reach.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was great. Just a little dink away, and he controlled the ball.
It was like, yeah, and he's the attacking center midfielder. Like Ozil would have been like, that's not my job.
Ozil wouldn't even have been back near the box.
Yeah, like I'll be standing up here, basically playing center forward.
Well, that's what Ozil did. He kind of played that, like he was always around the halfway line. He's kind of looking outside that middle box, like middle circle. He's around that area. He's looking Ozil. But Smith Rowe's like, I'm going to go get the ball and I'm going to create the momentum.
For real, which is what we need. You need that in a center. Like we talked about it before. Like when I played center mid, or in our day, you were supposed to attack, defend, go forward, get back. If you went to the right side of the field or the left side of the field, if that's where the ball was, you were expected to be there. It wasn't like you just I'm in my one zone and I don't leave that zone. And this is what I like.
I feel like that's how most soccer is taught as well. Like that, the midfield is the midfield, but they drift to all areas of the field. They're supposed to if he needs to go to the corner flag and help somebody out, he goes to the corner flag.
Yeah. Like
that's what his role is.
No, that's too far away. I don't have to do that.
Yeah. Like, no, dude, that's not how this works. I mean, Emile Smith Rowe is such a bright, shining light. We're not even discussing how much of a presence Partey is in the middle as well now, having him back. I mean, the midfield, I mean, if we get Odegaard, even if it's on loan for a bit, I mean, Odegaard is a solid player. He should replace Xhaka in that middle. Odegaard, Partey, Smith Rowe partnership is like, that's a beautiful thing.
Scary to think, because then you can unlock with the front three.
But then you got three midfielders that can score and also track and create play. Partey's ball and situational awareness for the Aubameyang goal did all the hard work for him. It's easy to have that not be stated, but he literally beat like two people in the back of the field and played a dime of a pass into the right pathway for Aubameyang to carry on and finish that.
Seriously. I mean, first of all, if you get an assist from your own half of the field, that's awesome.
Yeah. You played a great ball then.
Yeah, and like you said, it wasn't just that great ball. It was getting out of a little trouble and playing that great ball. And so often what frustrates me about Xhaka is like he does this thing. He gets it, turns, and just lays it off. Like he's a little like connector piece where he like trap and just pass it like this, trap and pass it like this. Head's always
Yep. It's exactly what he is. He's like on a pinball machine. He's just that little wall pass that you're looking for. Like he doesn't do very much. Often he'll go back with the ball.
Yeah. Whereas Partey, I saw a couple times, he bypasses that like little ding and then passes to this guy who then has to pass to this guy and that guy. He's just like gets it and then Aubameyang, I can just pass it right to him. Pass it right to him. Boom. Like skips those steps, which
him and Smith Rowe both seem to have a glide to their run with the ball. Ice skate like on the field that we've been missing, that you and I used to talk about. They would look like they're ice skating out there sometimes, and lately it's looked like they had like cinder blocks on their cleats when they're running around, and now it's finally they got the skates back on and they're moving around the field like effortlessly. Like that's what the football's supposed to look like. It's like, I mean, Smith Rowe gets the ball and he's running with the ball. I'm not worried about him running with the ball. He might lose it here and there, but very rarely. I mean, He's running with the ball. He's opening up the field. He's like, "Can I go here? Can I go here? I'm gonna fake like I'm gonna go here. And I'm gonna go that way, and I'm gonna open up the field and keep going. We'll move it that way after."
Yeah,
It's like,
there's a looseness, a lightness that was so missing because I mean Xhaka, you can tell Xhaka's trying really hard not to make a really bad mistake. You
yeah,
know? So
you
that's
feel bad for him because he's just not good enough. He's like, it's one of those. He's punching above his weight in the league.
yeah.
It's too far past where his level's at. He's just not. He's not a well-rounded enough football player to be
It,
playing in a top Premier League side.
and I feel like still when we bought him, we had an idea that he was going to be like Smith Rowe.
Yeah,
I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was always supposed to be like a holding center midfield. I didn't really understand the move when he came,
yeah.
but I never
I mean,
understood what he was supposed to do in the first place. And he's
his touch is just not there. Like, you know, if you were playing against Xhaka, what type of player he is, and Smith Rowe, you wouldn't want to play against Smith Rowe. Like, I wouldn't want to play against I mean, he's going to do damage in the field. Like,
right.
I mean, look at it.
He's going to move into attacking spaces that are there. Whereas,
he scored a goal against Newcastle in the FA Cup that was like taken like a true. Was a tough goal to score.
Yeah, solid.
And yeah, and he since then his confidence is only rising. I can only imagine what he'll be like next season. Like,
for sure. And he's getting a new contract. It looks like
40,000 a week.
Yeah,
seems low, but he's young.
that's. I mean, if he has another good year, then you bump
give him more. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like with the transfer window, which we'll get into as well. We're getting people off the wage bill, and we're hopefully restructuring the whole wage setup because I don't know what the fuck the deal was, but we were giving people absurd, like, why was Kolasinac on $100,000? Why was Saka on $100,000? Why is Mustafi on $100,000? Like, all these players seem to be gifted like a standard $100,000 a week contract.
Yeah.
Like,
which is like, for what?
It was like it was never earned. And then when you have these players who aren't even playing or they're struggling with their form and stuff, you're like, dude, this is so expensive.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, this is really.
And no matter what, wage structure affects the dressing room. You know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of those maybe, and you're right. I think the wage, people getting paid more, like Ozil on $350 a week not playing had to do damage to the dressing room.
It just fucks everything up because when it's not related to your performance, it's hard to feel like then your performance matters. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Your job, I'm killing it. I'm selling more than anyone else. But if it's not based on commission, then some jackass is getting paid more than me on salary and he's not doing anything. Then is that going to motivate me to go out there and hustle more, even more, sell more?
Yeah. No, it's true. It's I think Ozil we'll get to it. It's a big win for Ozil gone.
Totally.
It removes this virus in the club that has been weighing us down. And I mean, you can see probably the freedom that the team will probably play without him being involved around daily. I mean, he's at the training ground before just talking shit behind them. He's like, this probably makes little remarks to people. And, you've been there. You've been in teams where there's a toxic player and it does damage.
Totally. And just not having to talk about him anymore in press conferences and this and that, and having always the case be where if we have a bad game, it's like, well, why didn't Ozil play? Why didn't Ozil?
Him. I noted this before about the connection, but him and Trump seem to leave around the same time.
It's the same kind of thing, though, where
it is
kind of, it's not adding anything, and it's definitely sucking the life out of the organization. And now that it's gone, it's just like, you don't have to deal with it anymore. If you think he's great, then wish him the best. And if he goes to Fenerbahce and, gets 19 assists and 10 goals, then I'll say, you know what, he probably could have helped us, but it obviously wasn't working out.
This is such a different caliber of league, though, too. Like, I mean,
Well,
it's such a step down.
really watch who's going to go. He might get an assist, and everyone thinks, "Oh my gosh, this is great." Then all of a sudden, he'll have a back spasm. Then he's
Yeah, sit out for 5 months.
and we'll see what happens. He'll retire in a couple years, having played probably 20 more games.
Yeah, totally. He's the problem. If like, it's obvious that he's the problem. Like, when have you seen Arsenal cancel contracts, especially for their top earner? It's never happened.
Canceling contracts is not a suitable and sustainable way of.
No, they did it to Socrates as well. I mean, before we get into transfers, back to Smith Rowe real fast. Just, would you? We talked a lot about Awar in the summer, and us needing an attacking midfielder. Are you happy with him in that role and taking that lead at his age?
With Smith Rowe?
Yeah.
1,000%. He's already proven to me.
Same.
And
I mean, we did it with Fabregas. We let Fabregas do it when he was like 16 years old. Well, and he broke into the team and he was a baller.
Yeah. And I don't see us like building a whole team around Smith Rowe, as he has to put it all on his shoulders. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's the creative attacking midfielder that we wanted. Yep. He's what we wanted in Awar.
Yeah, he's similar though. He's similar, I think, to De Bruyne. If you look at Man City, De Bruyne is brilliant. Like, I love Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah,
I would say though that he isn't the main factor at City all the time. Like, he's an aspect to that team, but he's just an amazing piece in that team. Yeah, and that's what Smith Rowe brings.
Yeah, he's a weapon, but you take him out of the game, and you don't think that City is going to crumble. You still rate City can beat any team even without Kevin De Bruyne.
Well, they have multiple of them usually.
Yeah, definitely. As any team should be. It's not that all of a sudden now Smith Rowe's playing well, so everything needs to fall on him, or it needs to fall on Aubameyang, or it needs to fall on Saka or Martinelli. Like, you're in a bad place when you're relying on one player.
Yeah. So now that we're making some moves in the window, I think it could. There's maybe another exit coming for somebody. We got 9 days left.
Yeah. So who have we got so far, which is pretty crazy?
Kolasinac, Socrates, Ozil.
Socrates, Ozil, and Saliba went on.
Saliba, went on loan. Which I don't know. He had a really bad game the first game that he played for someone, but I haven't heard any news since then.
Yeah, whatever that drama was, it was another source of drama where we didn't know what was wrong. It felt like it was sucking the energy out of the room. It was always a question, if we have a bad game, why isn't Saliba playing? What the heck's going on? So just having him on loan, sort his head out, and then maybe we can see if we can move on from him, because his price is probably risen. I don't know, but maybe we move on from him. It's not like a dangerous situation where before we were like, we need a center back now.
Yeah.
So hopefully
we have depth there now.
Totally. And so that's.
I mean, because I don't even know who the first choice is sometimes. Like, Gabriel is still my first choice center back.
Yeah, Gabriel Holding, I would probably say right now.
Yeah, they seem to work well together.
Yeah. And then you have Luiz and Mari, Chamber, Mustafi.
Mustafi should probably leave. I think he's probably on the way out right now. He did post like some bullshit the other day about Ozil leaving, and they were like, I think it was a dig at Arsenal for sure on Twitter. It was just like, you're always, I don't know, just kissing Ozil's ass like he always does, because and I think let Mustafi go too, because he's obviously an issue.
Well, I would have him.
He doesn't play.
Yeah, I would have him out as soon as possible. But I think Arteta said that for squad depth, they plan on keeping him, and his contract runs out in the summer, and he's not signing a new one. So he's probably not going to play much for the rest of his time, and then he's pretty much a non-entity. It'd be preferable just to get him out, but to loan him, I mean, if we could loan him and get him off the wage bill for 6 months, sure. But I don't know if that's going to necessarily happen, But it looks like Mustafi is gone at the end of the year. So that's another player that we have been like, why the
And
fuck?
I would say Chambers probably as well in the summertime.
He can,
Yeah, yeah.
he definitely maybe just for squad depth, but it seems kind of like, you want two players at every position, right? So we have, let's say, Holding and Gabriel start. Then you have Louise and Mari behind, which I would not freak out if they're in.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be
more.
comfortable with those two.
Yeah, maybe you want one more, but that's going to be a utility player who's fifth choice. So it's not like you go and sign. And then you have Saliba, who maybe he comes back and everything is fine. And that's a great player to have in that group as well.
Yeah, yeah. And we have a lot of depth in our team now with some youth players that seem to be blossoming. I keep hearing different names all the time that like a new one's coming through that like they're like, I mean, we definitely have we talked about it. We have a class of 92 aspect going on in our team.
Totally. I mean,
with young players.
There's the players that are already mentioned. There's like almost like three tiers, I'd say. There's like the Saka and Smith Rowes who have established themselves at the highest level of the first team.
Oh yeah. Well, they just are so good. You can't ignore that they need to be in that team.
Totally earned. And every level you get to is because you've earned it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not prospect or potential. They've earned their starting spots on the first team.
Yep.
Then you have the Willock, Reece Nelson, maybe Maitland-Niles, I guess, even though he's a little older than them.
Nketiah. Kind of Martinelli in that team, even though he's not British, but he's kind of in that realm. But he's kind of more in the first team.
Yeah, for sure. Martinelli is up there. He'll find his starting spot.
At some point, yeah.
But so you have like those three, and I feel like Willock, Nketiah, Reece Nelson are squad depth players with a lot of potential. I almost feel like we should sell Reece though. They're talking about loan. He's a player, and I like him. I like all of those players. I'd love them to do well, but it's like we have on the wings. If we're playing a 4-3-3, for example, like on the wings, we have two or three players. We're talking about how is Pepe going to get in, and I still think Pepe is great.
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I wish that he could hit some form for like some. He needs a chance. I'm guessing he might start tomorrow.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would love to see Pepe, Alba, and Laka just play at the same time, just to see what the chemistry would be like. And if you actually have people behind them with some competence, just see how that works out for once. And if it doesn't work out, if Pepe gets the ball and keeps losing it or doesn't do anything or misses a lot of chances, then you can say, well, there's a lot of people knocking on the door. But he looks
like he's trying. He just can't find it.
No, he doesn't have a bad attitude. And he's another dude that it's not just like, oh, he doesn't do anything. Like, he scored goals time and again.
Yeah.
He hasn't, what we expect from him is like a 20-goal season. And because we haven't had that, people are ready to be like, oh, sell him, get rid of him. He's horrible. But like, he hasn't had a 1 or 2 goal season. He scored like 9 last time. He's having a rough patch. He can't really find a good rhythm.
Yeah.
But like selling him would be like getting rid of Aubameyang, or people are saying drop Aubameyang and then he scores 2 goals, or get rid of Lacazette. But Lacazette will score you a goal when you need it.
I mean, even if Lacazette doesn't score, whenever he's playing, he's involved. He's either disruptive, he's either taking like, whenever I equate like Aubameyang scoring or Lacazette scoring, one of the other ones did something to make that happen for the other one. They either took the space and took a player away, or they helped facilitate the whole thing going on. It usually happens that way for the two of them.
Yeah.
From a
defender, like Lacazette will win it from the defenders a lot.
Yeah.
And awareness is good.
Oh yeah, he's great on the ball. He's a great defender. He's great at putting pressure on the defenders. And soccer players don't get a lot of credit sometimes for taking players out of position. It's a team game. If somebody moves somewhere on the field and you score, it's because everybody was doing something to make that happen. And for the most part, I mean, in the attack. And they're finding it. They're getting better. I think, the additions, I think the goalkeeper that we heard nothing about at all. I woke up this morning and was like, oh, we signed a goalkeeper on loan. And I was like, damn, I knew that they had mentioned wanting a goalkeeper, but I didn't, Arsenal gets connected with everybody and anybody.
Yeah. We so rarely hear news that a deal is done. You know what I mean? Just like first, right out of the gate, a deal is done. It's always, well, maybe we're looking at this guy. And
then the Odegaard one too. Like the story I read this morning was on Sky that he's flying to London today to finalize a deal.
I mean,
it's like that's like,
yeah. So I have Fabrizio Romano. Do you follow him?
Yeah.
I mean, he basically doesn't say things that don't work out. Like he only tweets something if it's set in stone.
It's real, yeah.
And here's what I'll read, just his pinned tweet. Martin Odegaard has decided to join Arsenal over Real Sociedad. The deal is expected to be completed in the coming hours, and Real Madrid are in contact to reach the agreement. Real want a simple loan until June. Arteta spoke directly with the player, key factor.
Yep.
So again, you have Arteta doing this where he calls people and convinces them, which is something that we wanted, which Wenger he stopped doing that,
Yeah, he did it when he was younger, and then he stopped calling them and had other people do the business for him.
Then Mourinho kept doing it to all these players we wanted. You know what I mean?
But yeah.
The difference when you can convince a player that you're going to come here and we want you, we think you're great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Real Madrid liked the deal. I saw too that they liked it because Real Sociedad's in 6th place, kind of pushing for that Champions League spot. They don't want to directly make their competition better. So like Arsenal makes sense.
It's exciting.
Ceballos to go back on the other way right now because he just
Yeah, Ceballos but he's not a terrible squad type player,
he can sub in and out. And
one thing about the game against Newcastle that was such a breath of fresh air that we hadn't seen in a long time, like they took Partey off because like, you did a good job, we're gonna rest you. We're comfortable now. You know what I mean? Put on Elneny, he can come in and fill your spot for the rest of the game because we're winning and we know we're gonna win. So I'm not gonna push you when you have a thigh problem, but not like subbing people because they suck or they're not doing the right thing. Subbing people because we have the cushion and the ability to rest players. That was huge.
Totally. I mean, it was an important day for that. I love what Martin Tyler said about Elneny actually when he came on. He was like Elneny, just guy that just loves to be involved no matter whether it's on the bench or whether it's running. He just likes to be around the game. And he said that that's what all the players always say about him, that he's like amazing in the dressing room and that so you know what, like we used to not really rate him. I think he's a player that we can keep for a bit. Like he fills in, he's solid when he plays, he works hard. I got nothing really against him. I prefer Elneny to Ceballos any day of the week as a squad player.
For sure. And Xhaka.
Yeah.
Since he came back from loan and started playing with Arteta, it's been like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
Again, just the situational awareness. He doesn't really make
the pace at which he plays though is good.
Yeah.
He doesn't dilly-dally. Xhaka dilly-dallies.
Yeah.
Like
he doesn't have the cement shoes,
Yeah.
So I mean, are you gonna
get those water shoes off? Because it's just like it's like turning in a big tub of water whenever he gets the ball. It's like, dude, move a little bit faster. I know that you can receive the ball and turn around 10 levels faster than you do.
Just
like, what do you do?
You can tell it's nerves, and I feel that for Xhaka because I've been that player like him where he's kind of hiding but also wanting to play and wants to show that he cares, but doesn't really have the confidence to be there. He gets the ball, and
you don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah. Your vision is closed off, so you get the ball, and you're immediately just kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do, and then you feel like you have no time, and that's just something without confidence.
Yeah.
But like that's a personal journey you have to get through. You know what I mean? You have to break out of that. And I just don't think in this situation, he's been through so many ups and downs. It's just better to just move on.
Odegaard is excited. I wish it was a permanent deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember how old is he now? He's 21?
22.
22. And he was, when he signed at 16 for Real, he was like the talk of the world at the time.
Yeah.
Like he was like, people were like, Odegaard is going to be the best player in the world at some point.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bad move to go to Real Madrid at that age. I don't know why players do it. Like, they're not going to develop you in the way that you need to develop in other teams. You have to play all the time. And when you go to Real Madrid as a 16-year-old player, the chances of you breaking into that first team, the Galacticos, is not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, he went there when Cristiano was still there.
Yeah.
You have Modric, who won Ballon d'Or. You know, you have Cruz, who's a World Cup winner. You have Casemiro, who is a player that they just need. Like he's like the Xhaka of Real Madrid, but of that higher level as well. He's that good, but he's indispensable because you need that kind of Makaleli player in the defensive mid. And then so you're 16 and you're this wonder kid, but like, how do you beat out a Ballon d'Or winner, a World Cup winner, and basically a dude who's proven indispensable to the team?
Exactly. I mean, that team just has so many players in it that you're never going to beat out. And like, I mean, I doubt Real's looking to offload him permanently, right?
I mean, I think they've set him so high as a benchmark as a player that they're not going to give him up just easy, you know?
Just
like
easy, yeah.
maybe,
and especially if he comes and plays really well, he might have another year at Real or something. But I wish I know the market is the way it is right now. There's a lot of uncertainty as the virus is still raging in most of Europe and the world. As it starts to progress and get better, I imagine things will start to improve on the economic front for these. I think the loan deals are probably easier. That's why a lot of teams are doing them. A lot of deals are loans right now that I've seen.
Yeah.
It just seems that no one wants to make any big investments on a player in an uncertain window.
No, definitely not. I mean, and the way you have this year is so weird. You know, you have Odegaard, who can't get a game at Real Madrid, but he is exactly what Arsenal needs. It's kind of cool to just be like, okay, here's 6 months. We don't have to worry about the future. You know what I mean? Just come here and try to play as best as you can.
Yeah.
Help the team, help yourself. And if you end up going back to Real Madrid, you'll have a better chance of starting.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some way for him to come play for us. That'd be awesome. You know?
I mean, it's better than coming on loan than not coming at all. I mean, we have a better chance of getting him later. If he comes and balls and he connects with the team, he could ask to leave.
For sure. And you're coming to the Premier League. You know what I mean?
The best. You're coming to a team that's one of the most famous teams in the history of football.
Yeah. He won't feel like it's a stagnating loan move. Oh man, I got to go to this mid-table team somewhere and see if I can get a game. Like, this is a real bright opportunity for him.
No,
it's fun. It's only like a 6-month window, because that's perfect. Like, if it works out great, it can only help both parties.
And we have a great opportunity right now. If you look at the table is extremely close. I mean, we're in 10th place right now after 19 games. We're halfway through the season right now. We got 19 games to go, and we're like 10 points behind Champions League places. Liverpool lost to Burnley yesterday. And I mean, at this season, at this point, is still anybody's for the taking. It is so close.
For sure. Let's see. So we're on 27 points.
Yep.
Man U's on 40, halfway through the season.
And how many games played? We're 19 games played. Are they on 18?
Halfway through the season. No, they're at 19.
Okay, so we're 13 points behind the league leaders right now with halfway to go.
And you have a top table, you know, we have a Man United team that people were saying were garbage in the beginning.
Yeah. I still think they're kind of garbage.
They're scraping through wins, but
yeah, they're barely getting by.
We're halfway through. There's a long way to go.
Yeah, this point last season, we were 30 points behind Liverpool, who became champions. We're 13 points behind the league leaders right now.
No, we get our wins up because we're still on 8 wins.
Yeah.
Man U has 12 wins.
Chelsea's struggling right now.
Struggling.
Talking about Lampard getting sacked, he's probably a couple game loss away from being sacked right now. If he loses 2 or 3 more games, he's out.
I watched him play Leicester, and they looked very
terrible.
Like
they looked terrible.
Leicester was destroying them.
Yeah, Leicester's good. I'd say that Leicester's a contender up there right now.
I know. I wouldn't mind seeing Leicester win the league.
Again, that'd be amazing.
They're an underdog team, but they're legitimately really good. And Brendan
I don't think that we're going to win the league or have any chance to win the league. But I do think there's a very real possibility if we string together enough results, we could get into Champions League.
I mean, you look at what Cedric did last game. You look at what Tierney did against Newcastle. Then you throw in Partey, who hasn't played all season.
He hasn't even hit his full stride yet. Like when that dude starts to ball all the way, he's going to be better than Vieira.
He really does look like Vieira. He has that tall,
he does.
Skinny,
big.
Like he looks like he's weightless, but then if you go into a 50-50, you just get absolutely crushed.
Yeah, he looks like an unfazed. He just looks. I really like his movement. He has this like little dip where he like throws the player off. The dude completely moves the wrong way. He just turns and goes the other way with pace.
Yeah, it's super
very effortless for him. You're right. We're stacked in a lot of positions.
Yeah, like think about the players that really didn't play the first half of the season in the league.
Martinelli,
Partey. You throw in Odegaard into that mix. It's not even a
Smith Rowe.
How many games did he really play in the league in the first half of the season?
He's got like 5 games under his belt right now. That's it.
We're a different team. It's almost like we're starting from scratch midway. And I like this team a lot better than the team that was starting at the beginning of the year. You have Aubameyang, who basically didn't count because he was nowhere. His form had gone. But you got a brace. A brace is a big deal. People don't often score braces in the Premier League.
And he was sick. He took himself off the other day because he had to run to the bathroom. His stomach was messed up. Like he had to, Talk Sport even posted a funny meme, like the poop emoji, that he had to like run off the field because he had to run to the bathroom. Like he was like physically sick the other day.
Bubble guts.
Yeah. You know how playing with trouble gut is terrible. It's brutal. And like you're just sick to your stomach and you can't run.
I mean, you can't really focus on your touch,
Yeah, because you're worried about other things and just no. I mean, you're right. We got an exciting team. I think going into tomorrow, we got an FA Cup game. We got to play them in the league again in a couple of days. I think Arsenal should be looking at this season. You got to imagine Arteta saying something along the lines of, "Listen, let's just keep winning. Let's keep playing this way. Let's keep game by game. We have a real opportunity here to end up in the top part of the table." Because
for sure,
there's a lot of Liverpool is struggling right now. Liverpool hasn't scored a goal in 2021 yet.
I know. I watched that game too, and they were looking like us, though. You know what I mean? Like 90
frustrated,
possession, not falling to you in the box. The other team is putting 11 players in the box. You know what I mean? And then they win by a PK. And people are talking about Liverpool's like about to crumble, and they're, it's like, well,
they'll still finish up there. They'll still finish up there. It's. I think the fun part about this season is it's good to watch. It's interesting. People are going to lose. Nobody's going to run away with it at this point. We play Man United at the end of this month. They're on a good run of form. I think that we're going to do the double over them this season.
If we put the dagger in their heart and beat them convincingly, that would end.
If we play like we did against West Brom or Newcastle, I know they're different caliber teams, but if we put a performance like that, we're going to beat Man United.
I agree totally. And one thing about the Newcastle game too is what we're seeing is like when it doesn't work out, we're getting these 0-0s or losing 1-0,
like the Crystal Palace game.
You can tell it's not working, but when it works, We're getting 3-4, 3-1s, 4-0,
Yeah.
3-0. Like
A
that's the
lot of
art
clean, lot of clean sheets.
for sure. Like
When
5
have
in a
we
row.
when have we kept this many clean sheets and not been scored on in the last 10 years?
Yeah, it was a huge problem.
It
You're starting
was. We're
to see,
always conceding goals.
seriously, like the Arteta style when it's implemented, it seems to work. I mean,
Yeah.
you're getting good results. It's just sometimes it doesn't work. But also those games where it's flat and boring and 0-0 or we lose, you're feeling like we're not putting our strongest side out there.
Yeah.
Finally against Newcastle is like, okay, that's the team I wouldn't mind seeing. And then
So
you
we
think
got
like a couple
totally.
of additions, and then all of a sudden it's like, shit, we can play against anybody.
So we got Southampton in the cup tomorrow. We lost to them. What was the score? 1-0?
Or
2-0?
2-1.
What was the score? 2-1 maybe. Let me look.
I know
They were
fucking Walcott scored and then cheered like he was fucking won the World Cup.
I know, what a douche. We tied them 1-1.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought we lost.
Full time 1-1. I thought so too. That was but we didn't. December 16th. Weird. I for sure thought that was a loss.
No. Yeah, because that was during that terrible run of form, but
Yeah. I'll go back on BBC Fitch.
yeah, I guess no, it was.
It was 1-1, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Huh.
I for sure thought that was a loss as well, but it might as well have been a loss because we shouldn't have lost that game.
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't a good game.
No, and no disrespect to them, but that's a team that we should beat.
Totally, they're having a good, and they were top of the table at one point.
Yeah, they're kind of faltering a little bit right now, so we need to catch them off this week. In general, we need to win both these games. 2 must-win games.
Clear it off the table. Be like,
well, we move up in points on Tuesday or Wednesday with that game. We're on 27 points. We're 13 behind United. If we win Southampton and United, all of a sudden we're on 33 points. They're on 43 maybe, or 40 still, depending what their midweek game happens.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a different situation moving forward after that.
For sure. And
we've played well in the Cups.
Like if we catch some real serious form, this time of the year where we need to do it. Where
we haven't really had it all the way. So we had a bad run of form. So it's time. I feel like good fortune is in our way.
Yeah.
We need something. Everybody seems to have a dip in form at some point this season. We've had ours. We had a really bad dip. Chelsea's having theirs right now. Liverpool's having theirs right now.
Basically flatlined.
Yeah. Which they're doing too. Chelsea's not doing. They've lost like the last 4 games.
Yeah. And they don't look good either, too.
No. Like, they have no possession.
Liverpool isn't stuck in that rut that we were kind of in a little bit, where it's like you're just sending balls into the box and it's just not working, but they're trying and they still have possession and they're not getting beaten by other teams. Chelsea was getting beaten by Leicester, and Leicester, you could see in their face, was like, okay, these guys can't hurt us. It's like a boxer gets punched in the face and he's like, oh, that's how hard you can punch. You can't knock me out even if you tried and I let you. So I'm not afraid of you anymore. They were doing that to Chelsea, and that's more worrying,
Yeah. I mean, and the table, where's Chelsea at right now?
A couple places above us, maybe.
Yeah, 8th on 29 points.
We could pass them up.
Yeah. Quick. West Ham ahead of them.
You have
punching above their weight.
And look who you have too. 6th place Everton, 7th place West Ham. David Moyes is like, I can't believe how good we're doing right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because they're never. We said that they might get relegated this year.
Yeah, that they were tipped for that, and they have 9 wins, so they could basically lose almost every game for the rest of the season, and they would
be okay.
Have a good season on their.
safety is going to be way less than 40 points this year. It's going to be like 30 points is safety, I think.
Well, it's crazy that halfway through the season, Man United has reached the traditional safety point.
I know it's usually way far past this. Usually like 60 points.
Yeah, like you don't talk about the top of the table being safe from relegation. That's weird.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Sheffield United has 5 points.
Yeah. They might pull a derby.
They might get lower than 11 points this year. That's the lowest tally, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you have Aston Villa, who has like 3 games in hand, and they've been playing well, but also how long is that going to last? You have Southampton, you have West Ham, you have Everton, you have Tottenham, who's being stubborn, but I think they're going to crack.
Yeah, they just and to be honest, like they're just not exciting. You don't like I don't.
They're playing the cynical way that you would play for this kind of season when you're playing against teams that aren't at their best. That if you play real conservative and simple, and you have players that can score pretty much if they're given a chance, then you play to those strengths. But it's not going to be enough to push them past where they're at, I don't think.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
If Kane or Son gets injured, they will sink
screwed.
like a stone. That's where they're at.
And Kane gets hurt quite a bit, actually. So I would imagine Kane to pick up at least one more injury this year at some point.
I mean, it's just.
They got Euros coming up as well, so they're going to be cautious with them towards the end of the season.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if we just handle our end of the street, I think we're going to move up inevitably because there's a lot of room for teams slipping up.
Yeah, and there's some losses in there probably for us still too. Like we play City next month. That's going to be a tough game.
Yeah. And that's assuming that we play as well as we have been playing.
Yeah.
But it just looks it's easier to be optimistic when you're seeing a lineup that you hope would do well, and then they come out with a performance like that against Newcastle, and you're like, so they're as good as they are on paper. They are.
And tomorrow, yeah, they are. And tomorrow, I mean, we've traditionally been pretty good in the cups now. We've played really well in Europa League all year. We've played pretty well in the FA Cup. I mean, we won the F. We're holders.
Yeah.
We're champions right now. So
I don't see us on a one-off game in the FA Cup. We could easily win the FA Cup again this year.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Not easily necessarily, but yeah, if we play City, it'll be hard. If we play Man U, it'll be hard. Tottenham, it'll be. We've had a really tough schedule in the cup.
Well, they got some buzz going into tomorrow. They got some feel good factor. So I think he's probably going to put out a strong team, probably a little bit of a cup team. I would expect someone like Martinelli to start tomorrow,
which is awesome to see.
Because he was going to start against Newcastle and then he twisted his ankle. So I hope that he can get a good run of form.
Totally. I mean, it's when you think about it, if Aubameyang is in form, if Martinelli's in form, Saka is in form, then Pepe and Lacazette could also be in form. And then Emile Smith Rowe and Partey and Odegaard, like we have a lot of firepower all of a sudden.
Yeah, we do.
And that's with Nketiah and Willock on basically can't find a way in.
Yeah, I know. It's tough for him to break into the team for sure. What are you thinking result-wise tomorrow? It's definitely going to be taken care of tomorrow. There's no replays right now. It's into extra time and penalties.
Yeah. I want to say 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction. I think that we should dominate tomorrow.
Yeah, I want them to smash. I mean, I almost feel like if it's either going to be like 3-0 or we might, tie or whatever. Like if it's a good game, we should beat them 3-0.
Yeah, and then we got to go back there on a few days later.
Smack them again.
Yeah. I mean, we've been good away from home. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
we'll have a lot to talk about next week. We have two games against the same team.
2 games. Hopefully we'll see some more confirmation of these loan moves.
I can't imagine Matty Ryan starting in goal tomorrow, can you?
Really don't know. I didn't know who he was before today.
I didn't know who he was either, and apparently he's a good goalkeeper. But
And he said the first club he ever loved was Arsenal. Like, he is
yeah,
on the move. He's an Australian dude. Australians are usually like,
good with their hands.
yeah, just like reliable. He seems like
Yeah.
reliable, like jocks. You know what I mean? Who's like,
Yeah,
I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to get nervous. Like,
he played you know that dude. He's a big guy. He looks like he plays Aussie rules.
yeah, he's going to come with the knee right at the head, just catching ball.
Yeah, they're a different breed down there, that's for sure. So
yeah, so it's looking good. You got to like what Arteta seems to be doing, and let's give him some credit where credit's due, for sure. And
yeah, he turned that negativity around. It was
like, with his general decision making in the transfer market, it seems reliable and trustworthy. He's not doing something like, oh, I want to get rid of Lacazette or something like that, or like, he didn't come in and be like, well, like, you look at like Koeman at Barcelona. First thing he did was get rid of Suarez, who's the top goal scorer for Atletico, and they're going to win the title. Like,
yeah,
making some kind of major changes where he's like, you know what? I don't like Lacazette or Pepe. I'm getting rid of them, and blah, blah, like.
Yeah, he's making the obvious choices that we wanted, like the people that are fringe players that aren't performing that need to move on.
Yeah, they were bought from a different regime. No one really agreed with them coming in.
Yeah.
No one was excited. The players that we've lost so far were not players that we even ever really wanted to begin with.
Yeah.
They didn't always play horrible every single game, but it's not like, oh man, we lost that player. It's almost like that's coming to be like the 15 to 18 Arsenal the last few years of Wenger and Unai Emery. I think we'll look back and be like, that was like the worst, absolute worst.
Oh yeah, worst team selection, worst amount of players. It's funny that we got Leno, Aubameyang, and Lacazette all in that period.
Yeah,
and the rest of them though, we signed a bunch of players that weren't very good.
Yeah, and they didn't even. It's not even like they didn't live up to their potential. It was almost like
they didn't have any.
Why are we getting these people in the first place?
Yeah, you're right. I think that we'll come back to look at this team and the team before and not really rate them very well.
Thank God there.
We seem to be on a different trajectory right now. I'd say that we had a bad run of form recently, but there was a lot of factors in that, and this season is one of them. And growing pains. We had an outside influence. I bet you Ozil was causing a lot of that issue.
He might have been the mole. Did you see that they asked Arteta about who the mole was? Like, someone was straight up leaking drama to the press.
I think it was probably Ozil.
Dude, like, maybe it wasn't Ozil. Maybe he's actually the best person ever. I don't really care about his personal life. You know what I mean?
Even if he's a saint, I don't know. I just don't think he's handled his business in the right manner. We've talked about him a number of times, and obviously there's going to be some maybe relief moving forward that he's gone.
Totally. And whether he's a mole or not, he's gone. A lot of that kind of extra pressure that wasn't as easy to get rid of as we would have liked. We would have liked this done 3 years ago, but it's coming to fruition now. So now all we can do is look at the team that's here. I think they're good. I have a lot of faith in them, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. So as always, it's been lovely chatting today, and we'll be back next Friday to talk about,
hopefully, with more good news.
Yeah, hopefully with some more brilliant performances. If Emile Smith Rowe's in the team, I think that it's a step in the right direction for me.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Talk to you later.
Peace.
Bye.